Okay, welcome all of you. We are now going to start the next topic, that is balancing. It is balancing of rotating masses. See, this balancing is to be carried out for reciprocating masses also and rotating masses also. For our syllabus, we are going to talk about balancing of rotating masses. Now let us see what is the meaning of this topic. What does this topic tell us? That is the first thing. Let us see. Balancing of rotary masses means when there is a mass which is under rotating condition, it requires a balancing. Now how this happens, why it is unbalanced, let us try to see that first. So let me draw, let's say, one axis like this. Let me draw one shaft like this, and this shaft is a shaft and it is a bearing, and on this shaft let us say one mass is fitted at a distance of r. There is a mass m fitted. That means on a shaft there is one mass fitted m at a distance of r from the axis of the shaft. Now this shaft is performing a rotary motion. It has got angular velocity omega radians per second. That is the angular velocity. Now in this situation, what is going to happen is, this mass, when it is rotating, it is going to exert some kind of a centrifugal force. Now all of you know a very simple example. Suppose I take one stone, and on that stone, suppose to that stone I tie one rope, and then I start rotating that rope. So when I rotate that rope, what will happen is, the stone will start revolving like this, and when it is revolving, it has got a tendency to move away from the center. So all the time the thread is going to pull. So my hand is getting some pull from the stone because the stone wants to move away. So this is what is called the centrifugal force. All of you know that. So here, this particular case shows that when the mass is rotating, there is a force F which is going to act on the mass in the direction away from the axis, and this F is called as centrifugal force. And this is given as mr omega square in newtons. So mass in meters, mass in kg, r in meters, and radians per second. So that is going to give you the centrifugal force, which is making use of the parameters which are shown there, m, r and omega. This all of us know. But now see what happens because of this mass which is rotating. Now once this mass is there, what will happen is, the rotation of the shaft will be disturbed. Disturbed in the sense that this mass will be trying to pull the shaft like this. So maybe the shaft will have a tendency to move something like this. It will get stretched like this. So as a result, it will not remain stable. Now we have to do something so that the shaft will not have a tendency to move like this. Or in other words, by some means we have to balance or cancel this centrifugal force. That means on this side we are supposed to apply a force F dash, so that F is equal to F dash. So we apply another equal and opposite force at the same point whose magnitude is same, F and F dash. Once this you can do, then what will happen is, the shaft will not be experiencing any centrifugal force. So it will remain in the straight line. It will not have any say deflection or deformation like that. So, or maybe on a stress. So how to do that? That is what is called as balancing. So for the purpose of balancing, we have to do some such thing so that the balancing of the shaft will take place. Now one more example, very simple day-to-day example which all of you must be knowing. If you are seeing sometimes a fan, suppose I draw one fan. This is a ceiling, and from the ceiling a fan is drawn. Like our ceiling fan which is there in the classroom anywhere. So same thing is there, but then this rod is quite long, suppose. And when your fan rotates, ideally what happens, again it is a similar case situation. So instead of one mass, there are three masses because there are three blades. And all the three blades, they are the masses and they are rotating. So they are going to cause centrifugal force. So when they are causing the centrifugal force, the net centrifugal force of that should be such that it is going to cancel. Suppose it is not cancelling, that means suppose the fan is not balanced, then what will happen? All of you must have noticed sometimes that this fan has got a tendency to swing like this. That means its rod which is supporting the fan, that rod is not stationary. It has got some kind of a movement. Now that movement will exist when the masses, that means the three blades, they are not balanced properly together. A set of three blades together is not balanced. If that is the case, then the rod of the suspended rod which is suspending the blades of the fan is not going to remain stationary or stable. So this is an example of unbalanced rotating mass, which you might say anywhere. So we have seen that we have to add equivalent, we have to apply equal and opposite force so that the net result is zero and the balancing is done. Now how to do that? That is precisely what we are going to learn in this chapter by taking different types. So we are talking about the first type, balancing of single mass system. Balancing of single mass system. So now having seen the basics, now let's see how to balance a system which has got just one mass. So which is same as this system. So I'll draw the figure like this. Let us show one mass here at a distance r, and it is rotating by angular velocity omega like this. And we are trying to balance this. Now how do we do this? First thing is, let us try to find out the centrifugal force F. So centrifugal force is equal to F is equal to mr omega square, whose value you can find out because you are given m, r and omega. All these things are given. So in the data you are given all the three things. So you can find out the centrifugal force that is acting on the shaft in the unbalanced situation, unbalanced condition. Now let us introduce one balanced mass. So balanced mass, let me call that as mv. So this balanced mass we are going to put at a distance, radius of mv is rb. Now let's show this somewhere. So what we do is, at this point here, at a distance of rb, we are putting one balanced mass mb. Now let us say rb is given. That means you are asked to balance this system. The statement of the problem says that balance, this is the situation. Now balance this system by adding a balanced mass mb placed at a distance of rb. rb is given to you. So you put a balanced mass mb at a such and such distance, which is told to you how much it is. What is the mass you are going to put? That is asked. That means this mb is asked the distance at which you are going to place mb. That is rb is given and you are asked to find out mb. That is the nature of the exercise that is given. So now what do we do is, we say that centrifugal force due to balanced mass is equal to F dash. That means here F dash is going to act because of the balanced mass, and that F dash is equal to how much? mb rb omega square. Now this, if you calculate, it will be in terms of mb, newtons. So there will be some numbers and mb. mb is unknown, which you have to find out. Now since these two forces are supposed to balance, alright, since F is equal to F dash, we already know what is F. So you are going to put this, rather I should write it F dash. So when this is the case, then this answer m r omega square should be equal to mb rb omega square. So you will find omega square gets cancelled. Then m is given, r is given, rb is given. Only this is not given, so which you can find out. So you find how much kg is the answer, which you can find out. That means by making use of this principle or this fact, how to balance a mass, single mass system by adding a single mass, which is what we have earlier learned as a small part of the theory. And this is the actual exercise given, balancing of a single mass system by adding a single mass, balanced mass. So this was our balanced mass kept in the same plane, and then what we have done is we have shown it by the centrifugal forces. So the centrifugal force by the mass which is there, and then the centrifugal force applied by the balanced mass like this, mb rb omega square. These two should be equal. So that gave us what is the balance mass you are supposed to add, and then this becomes the figure. Now how this is seen in the side view, suppose I try to draw the side view, I'll draw it here. Side view. Side view could be like this. This is M, R, this is RB, this is MB. So this is the side view. Side view of this figure showing that it is in the same plane. It shows it is in the same plane. Here also it shows it is in the same line. So that is how we are balancing a single mass system by putting a balanced mass in the same plane. So jot this down, then we will take up the next part. Okay, so we have seen how to balance a single mass system. Now let's see how to balance multi-mass system. So balancing of multi-mass system. This is the second type. Multi-mass system revolving in same plane. So now there are, instead of one mass, now there are going to be multiple masses, but then all the masses they are in same plane. What happens in such case? So we'll see that. So let me draw the side view here. So in the side view of this shaft, we are showing that there is one mass here, M1, at a distance of R1, and it is making angle theta 1. One mass is here, M2, at a distance R2, and making some angle theta 2. Then there is another mass here, M3, R3, making angle theta 3, and here there is another mass, M4, R4, at an angle of theta 4. So you are given all these masses. So you are given M1, M2, M3, M4, R1, R2, R3, R4, theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, theta 4. So all these things are given. Even angular velocity is also given. It is of no use, but it is given. And then you are asked to find out MB. Also RB is given. You have to put a balanced mass at a distance RB. What is the mass that is asked? The exercise. Now all these masses in this view, since they are in one plane, you can see here in single plane. So these masses will be seen like this. M1 here, somewhere here there is M2, somewhere here there is M4, somewhere here there is M3. Now this is just a representation, so you need not draw exactly by as a front view side view kind of thing. Only we are representing that they are in one plane. Approximately show them in proper position, nothing more than that. No, not much accuracy required. So this is the situation. All the masses, multiple masses, they are in single plane. They are distributed like this with all the data given, and now we are going to balance this system. How we do this? That is the thing to be solved. Now this is solved by making use of one table. So let me show you how the table is prepared. So we prepare a table like this. In the table we write mass, say maybe serial number, mass M, radius R, and then we'll write M into R. So M1 R1, M2 R2, M3 R3, M4 R4. Then we find out M1 R1 how much it is. We then write MB and RB. These are balance mass. Now, since these things are known, see what is known here? All these things are known. So this you can find out, this you can find out, this you can find out. Here, this is not known, but this is known. So all these numerical values are there with you. Now what we do is, see here, everywhere there is a centrifugal force. So I'll show that. Here there is a centrifugal force F1, F2, F3, and here it is F4. So these are the centrifugal forces acting on four masses. So now what we are doing, we are going to draw force polygon, it is called as. Now M into R. Now you know M into R into omega square is force. We already seen it earlier. M R omega square is force. So M into R is force upon omega square. So this is same as force upon omega square. So if you want to show force, since omega is constant, force is similar to M into R. So M into R is equivalent to force. This is not force, but then this value is equivalent to, it is proportionate to force. So instead of showing force, you can show M1, M and R also. So this MR we are going to draw as a force. So what we do is, we start from one point, 0 point, and from this point we are going to show this vector F1. So I will draw this vector F1. We first of all we have to take a scale. That scale for how much force you are going to show by how many millimeters. So this F1, that means M1 R1, you are going to show it is making angle theta. So here make an angle theta 1 and draw this line like this, which is representing F1. And F1 means, in fact, it is M1 R1. It is same as M1 R1. It is equivalent to M1 R1. So we draw M1 R1, this M1 R1 we show here. Then we are going to show F2, that is M2 R2. So at this place, we draw the axis, light lines. So I am drawing the axis again. And then making this angle theta 2 in this direction. We show M2 R2. You have to write the scale here. So the second vector is shown making angle theta 2. Now again we draw axis, and then now we are going to draw third line along this F3. So like this, we draw a line at an angle of theta 3, which is representing F3 means M3 R3. That means this M3 R3, this number converting by suitable scale into millimeters. So that length, a vector is drawn of that length, making angle theta 3 representing F3. Then again same thing, reference. Then draw a line at an angle of theta 4. And this is representing M4R4. That is F4. F1. So what we have drawn here is, we have drawn 4 lines representing 4 forces. So these 4 forces, they are acting on this point. So if you remember earlier, sometimes back in some earlier years, you have learned coplanar forces, concurrent forces. That means on one point, there are several forces acting. So on this point, there are so many forces acting. So when so many forces are acting on the point, what happens? These forces will have their resultant force. Suppose there is one object. Suppose there is a table. And to that table, suppose we are tying 4 ropes. 4 ropes are tied. And there are 4 persons holding 4 ropes. And all these 4 persons, they are asked to pull the table. So each person will pull the table by his own force, which is not same for all. So every person will have different forces. So F1, F2, F3, F4 is applied on a table. Now what will happen to the table? The table will move in a direction which is the resultant of all the forces. Whichever is the resultant, that will be the net force, and in that direction the table will move. Simple. So here also, these are the forces acting. The resultant force is this. So if I show here, this is going to be the resultant force. That means on this point, instead of saying that on this point F1, F2, F3, F4, on this point you are saying 4 forces are acting. Instead of that you say on this point only one force is acting. There are no 4 forces, there is only one force. And what is that force? This is that force which is at certain angle theta r. So if I show here theta r, that angle theta r, and this is r. So instead of saying 4 forces, there is only one force acting. So now when one force is acting, what happens? This problem becomes the earlier problem. B. If you see A earlier, in case of earlier problem, earlier situation, earlier case, there was only one force acting. And that force we have balanced by another force MP. So now if this is what is acting, then for balancing this force, you require a force which is acting in this direction. So that this will be balanced. Simple. So now what we do is, we are going to show here a vector. This